Hey, what is up, fellow raiders? This is Vulcan Dan, and in today's beginner-friendly and free-to-play friendly Raid Shadow Legends video, we are going to talk about the top 5 rares that you should watch out for if you are in the early game, if you want to progress quickly in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, of course, you might be looking for that nice epic, maybe a legendary if you're lucky, but do not forget that we do have quite a few rares in this game that are worth building, worth maxing out, and of course they are cheaper to build because they are rares. So yeah, so make sure you watch out for these when you do your next shard pull. Alright, so before we start, I just want to shout out one uncommon champion, because of course we're talking about rares, but there is one uncommon champion that is too good to not to mention, and that is Armiger. So yeah, he just has 2 skills. His A1 decreases the turn meter by 30% if this attack is critical. So of course you want to build him with 100% crit. This is a very good turn meter control skill, one of the best in the game. And yeah, they put it in an uncommon champion. So, and his A2 is on a 2-turn cooldown when booked, and this scales on enemy max HP. So this can really hit hard against bosses. So yeah, and of course he is defense based. His damage is based on defense, so you would want to build him with high defense, high speed, 100% crit rate, and you will see that against bosses he will keep the turn meter down by a lot, to the point that if you build him fast enough, the boss might not even get a turn. Right, so that is Armiger. Just wanted to point that out. All right, so let's get to our top 5 rares that you should watch out for as an early game player. Number 1 is Frozen Banshee. She's all about poisons. She even has poison sensitivity on her A3, which increases the damage that the boss takes from poison. Now, if you're fighting against a clan boss, poison is definitely one debuff that you really want to put out against a clan boss. And Frozen Banshee is the best poisoner in the game as a rare. Alright, so yeah, so of course in the early game, I don't think you'll have someone like a Draco or any of the hard-hitting poisoners, but Frozen Banshee as a rare can actually keep up with the damage that those legendary and epic champions that are dealing against the clan boss. So yeah, so if you happen to pull Frozen Banshee in the early game, then congratulations, build her up, put her in your clan boss team, give her a lot of speed, even build up her defense, and she has quite a high defense for an attack type champion, so that works well against the clan boss. And of course build her with high accuracy as well, and put lifesteal gear on her to make sure that she stays alive longer in the clan boss fight. Alright, so that's Frozen Banshee. Number 2 is Apothecary. Now, in my own account, in this main account of mine, which is also free to play, it took me a very long time to pull Apothecary. So sometimes it just takes a lot of RNG. Sometimes you pull him in your very first week. Sometimes it takes you 5 months to pull your first Apothecary. So yeah, it just takes RNG, a bit of luck, but he is excellent in a lot of areas in the game. He has this triple hit A1, which is great for something like the clan boss, especially if you get the tier 6 mastery giant slayer on him. He has this huge heal, single target heal on his A2, and this increased turn meter with an increased speed buff on all allies. So yeah, so you can play him in the arena to boost the speed of all of your champions. You can put him in dungeons. He even has this aura that increases your defense in dungeons. So when you're going against the potion keeps, Minotaur, Ice Golem, Fire Knight, yeah, he works well there. He increases the defense of all of your champions, and of course he will keep everyone alive with his heal right here. You can book this down to a 2-turn cooldown. So even though it is a single target heal, he will make himself and everyone else faster with this skill, and then he will get back to this heal very quickly. So yeah, use him in Fire Knight, use him in Minotaur, use him in Clan Boss. He is, and you can even use him in the early game Doom Tower run. So pulling an Apothecary is definitely a game changer. Get him 100% crit rate because his heal does it can crit and also get him as much speed as you can. So really fast, 200 plus speed if you can. Get him in high HP and high defense. I know that his damage is based on attack, but you don't really need Apothecary to deal that much damage against the enemy. So you just want him to stay alive for the fight. So just build him with HP and defense. Do not worry about his damage. And you don't need to build any accuracy because he does not place any debuffs at all. So keep his accuracy as low as you can and make way for the other stats. All right, so that's Apothecary. Number 2, let's stay, number 3, let's stay in the same faction, Reliquary Tender. All right, so she has this weak version of the decreased attack in her A1. This one is okay, especially good when you're going against bosses, but it's not really the highlight of her kit. She has this, removes all debuffs from all allies, then place a continuous heal on them for 2 turns, can be booked to a 3-turn cooldown. This is a very good skill if you have a lot of decreased defense up on your team, a lot of poisons, and it looks like your team is dying. She removes all of those and she heals you up for 15%. And this goes on for 2 turns. So very good healer, a whole team healer. So if you have Apothecary and you have Reliquary Tender in the same team, then you're probably going to beat a lot of content in this game. And she has this revive on her A3. This is on a 5-turn cooldown when booked. She will revive you with 30% HP and give you 30% turn meter. So yeah, excellent. I would really just put her in a lot of speed, and same with Apothecary, a lot of HP and defense. Don't really need to worry about crit rate or crit damage on her. So for her gloves, you would want to put, of course, for Apothecary, give him 100% crit rate, but for Reliquary Tender, you can just give her HP or defense percent gloves. And of course, the same goes for the chest, and give her speed boots. And also, she does place a debuff on her A1, but it's really up to you if you want to place accuracy on her. It doesn't really make a big difference. You can just build her as tanky as you can with high HP and high defense. Right, so that's number 3. Number 4, let's go to Ogryn Tribes. Where are you? There you go, Bellower. The thing that you have to remember about Bellower is that all of his skills are AoE attacks. His A1, A2, and A3. And he places a lot of debuffs. Block active skill, a very underrated, very good skill. Very good debuff on his A1. It's a 20% chance, but can be booked up to a 30%. And he also has this decreased speed, although it's the weak version, on his A2, and decreased attack and decreased defense on his A3. So yeah, a lot of debuffs, and because he does have AoE in all of his skills, he is a perfect candidate for the stun set. So yeah, give him 4 pieces of stun gear so that you can have an 18% chance to stun every time he attacks. And since he hits everyone, there is each enemy gets an 18% chance of being stunned every single time. Now, just one note, just in case you're not aware, the stun that you get from stun gear, or any debuff that you get from any gear that you have on, those do not work on accuracy. So it's just a flat percentage. So if you have a stun set on, that is a flat 18%. It doesn't matter if you have 0 or 300 accuracy. But of course, you do want to build Bellower with a lot of accuracy because all of his skills have debuffs. So yeah, so just wanted to put that out there. For Bellower, his damage scales on attack, but actually, you can build him for high damage. So you would want to build him with 100% crit rate, high crit damage, a lot of attack. But you can also actually build him for a more defensive build, high HP, high defense, and that is okay as well. It really depends on what you need for your team. So yeah, he can work both ways. It really depends on, maybe you want him to last longer, maybe you're finding out that he's dying all of the time and you don't have a reviver, then yeah, build his HP and defense more. But if you really just care about damage, then yes, build him with high crit and a lot of crit damage and a lot of course, accuracy. All right, so that's Bellower. The last one that I want to mention is Coldheart. Yes, of course, if you've been watching any raid videos on YouTube, then you probably have heard of Coldheart. She is one of the, she's probably the most talked about rare in the entire game, all right, because she has a 4-hit A1, so this is excellent for the Fire Knight because you do want multi-hit A1s to take down the Fire Knight's shield. So champions like Apothecary, Coldheart would work well against the Fire Knight. Her A2 is okay, it's an AoE hit, but really players don't really care too much about her A2. We just really care about her A1 and her A3, the Heartseeker, which is a heavy single target hit, also decreases the turn meter by 100%. And yeah, this one scales on enemy max HP, so works well against big bosses. So yeah, so against the Fire Knight, to make sure that of course you bring down the shields with her A1, and of course her Heartseeker A3 will take out a big chunk of that HP and also bring the Fire Knight's turn meter down back to 0. All right, so you might think, all right, so this is an attack champion, so it looks like her skills are really based on high damage. So you might be thinking, all right, I'll build my Coldheart with a lot of attack. But actually, because her Heartseeker A3 really scales on enemy max HP, building her attack will increase her damage by just a tiny amount. It's not really that worth it. I would rather you build your Coldheart with a lot of HP so that she stays alive longer in the fight. So yeah, I would recommend putting her in an HP chest, not an attack chest. All right, and of course, high speed, high crit rate, but you only need 70% crit rate on Coldheart because her Heartseeker gives you an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So yeah, so this is one of the rare champions wherein even in the early game you can put her in crit damage gloves. All right, so because most of the time you would want crit rate gloves on your starter champion, you know, like your Kale, Aethel, Galek, Elhain. But for Coldheart, you just want 70% crit rate, so you could probably get crit rate from your other gear, your weapon, your helmet, your shield, your boots. Yeah, so for the main stat of your gloves, it's better if you put crit damage because you can get crit rate elsewhere. All right, so 70% crit rate, as high a crit damage as you can, high speed, high HP. Don't really worry about her attack. And of course, get her accuracy as high as you can as well, so that to make sure that her decreased turn meter will proc. Because if you don't have accuracy, there's a chance that this one will not land. All right, so those are the top 5 champions or top 5 rares that I think that you have to definitely watch out for. Do not make a mistake of feeding these. These are not food champions, you know, to sacrifice to your epic or your legendary. Keep these, build them up, and you will be happy that you did so. All right, so of course, those are not just those 5 rares are not the only ones that are worth leveling up, maxing out, but those are just the ones that you really should watch out for. There are plenty of rares in this game that would really help you out, especially in the early game. Champions such as Coffin Smasher from the Knight's Rev is excellent for the clan boss, the early game clan boss. The Dwarf Void Rare, Bulwark, yeah, so Void Rare, he extends the debuff on the clan boss. We have a Veer, who is also a dwarf with his heals, poisons, and increased turn meter. We have War Maiden, of course, the famous decreased defense AoE champ that everyone should get. We have champions like Ogryn Jailer. Yeah, just want to point that out. A lot of people forget about Ogryn Jailer, especially in the early game. His A1 is excellent for the Magic Keep to remove that shield if you're struggling, and he's also the right affinity against the Magic Keep boss. All right, and of course he also hits hard. His A2 also helps with the Magic Keep buffs, and yeah, So build him with a lot of attack, and he's a very fun champ. Get him with high crit rate, crit damage, and with accuracy to steal those magic keep buff, and watch him nuke down that boss right there. All right. So that is it. Those are my top 5 rares that you should watch out for, especially if you're in the early game. So yeah, so maybe you're building some rares that that are in your team right now, and you want maybe you want my opinion on it. So yeah, so if you do, please put them in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to help you out. All right. So I hope you guys had fun watching this video. I hope this was useful, and if you want more free-to-play friendly guides, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.